rate of fatal boat accidents is a conversation that continues to raise concerns because it is mandatory that waterways are kept safe, because lives are at stake. Although there have been several factors identified as being responsible for these mishaps, both natural and human errors. However, some experts say securing the nation's inland waterways requires a multifaceted approach with community engagement at a center stage to promote safety and providing the necessary infrastructure at these jetties. Amidst concerns over a recent spike in boat accidents, the federal government has reiterated commitment in giving priority to the safety of citizens on waterways, with an appeal to state governments to complement efforts and policies at addressing mishaps. On the other hand, stakeholders are lending their voices for the enforcement of the 2023 Inland Waterways Safety Codes and prosecution of offenders who put passengers at risk. Tonight, we'll put our spotlight on ways of averting boat mishaps, the role of communities. And our guest is Mr. Olawale Adetola. He's the General Manager of Business Development from the National Inland Waterways Authority. Thank you for joining us. This is Weekend File. I'm Ruth Aguwele. Now, before we get to the part of the discussion and focus, let's begin with the news. In another bold move that seeks to further ignite the economic landscape of southwest Nigeria, the Office of the Sustainable Development Goals, in partnership with Renewed Hope Initiative, has presented empowerment items to about 3,500 women in the zone. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, flagged off the exercise for the region with the empowerment of 1,000 beneficiaries in Lagos State. State House correspondent NTA Weekend reports.
Sustainable Development Goals 1, 5 and 8 are all in focus as the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, in partnership with Renewed Hope Initiative and matching support from the state government, lined up empowerment items, including deep chest freezers, gas cookers with oven, industrial grinding machines, and generating sets as objects of hope to be distributed to 1,000 beneficiaries in the state.
The empowerment of women in all spheres of life is central to achieving the SDGs, especially SDG 5 on achieving gender equality and empower all women and girls, and SDG 8 on decent work and economic growth. This program aligns with the Renewed Hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, which prioritizes inclusivity, economic growth, and sustainable development to all Nigerians, particularly women's economic empowerment. So the beneficiaries of this empowerment program, let these items serve as a foundation for creating a better life for yourselves and your families.
It's far more than the distribution of support. It is sowing the seed that will grow into forests of possibility. We will equally ensure that this initiative is supported with structures to help that through this skills development, mentorship program will push and the leakages will be wider, will create a wider opportunity.
Providing women with access to resources, skills, and opportunity, they can become economically self-reliant, contributing to the development of their household and influence decision-making within their communities.
The intervention, which held simultaneously in all the 6 states in the Southwest Zone, targets a total of 18,500 women across the country, 500 each from the states. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the story of empowerment in Lagos State continues with the inauguration of an industrial leather hub by Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu at Waterway Industrial Estate. Here is State House correspondent again, Adeni Itaiwo, who reports that the old gave way to the new when the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, renamed the hub after the First Lady at the event.
Conceived by the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration in year 2020, the now Senator Oluremi Tinubu Industrial Leather Hub is a response to the yearning for a thriving leatherwork ecosystem with a well-integrated value chain. Unveiling the project, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu commended the state government for the progressive initiative targeted at job creation and productivity in non-oil sector.
By investing in this hub, the Lagos State government has once again demonstrated its commitment to job creation, productivity, and sustainable economic development. I say well done. Leatherwork is a traditional craft that has stood the test of time. I am informed that this hub will serve as a center for leather processing, footwear production, and specialized training. I urge all those who will utilize this facility, artisans, entrepreneurs, and our vibrant youth, to take full advantage of the opportunities it offers. As we unveil this hub today, let us use it as a beacon of possibilities, a symbol of how government and citizens can work together to turn challenges into opportunities.
For Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the project represents a gateway to global competitiveness and a testimony to the partnership between the federal and state governments.
We will deepen the leather ecosystem by linking this hub to our fashion district. It will ensure that it has e-commerce capability platform and also have internodal transportation facility that will ensure seamless movement of goods and people.
It's an opportunity for all of us to encourage our youth to be independent and industrial.
10,000 direct and indirect jobs are expected to be generated by the hub in the next 3 years, while providing training and other support to leather workers. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Nigeria, we hear, is deepening collaboration with Japan to build strategic partnership and mobilize funding for upgrade and expansion of power transmission infrastructure in the country. Now, this is coming as the Federal Executive Council recently approved counterfeit funding of 19 billion naira to catalyze loan funding of $238 million from the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. The loan funding will support the expansion of the national grid with construction of more than 200 kilometers of new double-circuit transmission lines and substations. Already, 3 substations funded by JICA through a $32 million grant are set for inauguration in Apo FCT, Kefi in Nasarawa State, and Apapa area of Lagos State, expected to strengthen supply reliability. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu says Nigeria is advancing a $190 million renewable energy loan facility supported by JICA to scale up distributed renewable energy solutions across communities in the country. In other news, Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni has urged Nigerians to pray for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as he works to place the country on a sound footing. He made this appeal during a courtesy visit by a delegation from the Tijaniya sect who were in the state for their annual Maulud gathering to offer special prayers. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
By Sheikh Ibrahim Tahir Usman Bauchi, the delegation comprises representatives from Morocco, Algeria and other countries, and they are in Yobe State for the annual Maulud celebrations of Sheikh Ahmadu Tijani, the spiritual leader of Tijaniya movement worldwide. The delegation's leader explains that the sect is using this occasion to offer special prayers and supplications for divine intervention in the affairs of Nigeria. Every year, we observe several Maulud commemorations, providing platforms for prayer warriors to offer special prayers for our country to surmount its challenges. This is what we also intend to achieve this year. Governor Bunihu commended the initiative, says the relative peace that the state is enjoying is largely attributed to the fervent prayers of the citizens.
Prayer is a key to solving our challenges. Therefore, I am appealing to you to include in your prayers President Bola Tinubu, Nigeria, and all states of the Federation for sustainable peace and harmony.
The visit of the Tijaniya sect delegation to Yobe State for Maulud celebrations highlights the importance of prayer and unity for Nigeria's peace and stability. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
The governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party reaffirms their commitment to repositioning the party ahead of the 2027 general election. This forms part of major outcomes of the Governors' Forum meeting held in Gusau, Zamfara State. Jamilu Ibrahim will tell us more.
These are the governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, holding their forums meeting for the first time in Zamfara State. The meeting held at the Government House, Gusau, largely deliberated on party affairs and some national issues.
Commitment to the resolution of the 101st National NEC meeting of July 25th regarding the November 15 National Convention. It urges members to resist all attempts to derail the convention by anti-party forces, but condemns the continued monstrous killings in Katsina, Plateau, Niger, Benue State, and other parts of the country.
The meeting was attended by governors of Bauchi, Zamfara, Taraba, Adamawa, Oshun, Bayelsa, and Oyo states, the PDP acting national chairman, the forum's director general, and some members of the party board of trustees were also in attendance. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
More than 500,000 Nigerians have pre-registered online for the continuous voter registration exercise within the first 5 days of its resumption. INEC National Commissioner May Agbamuche Mbu disclosed this during the official flag-off of the nationwide sensitization campaign in Abuja. Kenechukwu Odrianum reports.
The roadshow and sensitization are part of INEC's efforts to ensure a credible and inclusive electoral process. From the streets of Maitama to Gariki down to Wuse and other major streets, staff of the commission took time to educate residents on the process for the online pre-registration phase while distributing handbills and flyers. INEC staff readily provided answers to questions from residents.
As part of efforts to deliver on our mandate to conduct free, fair, credible and inclusive elections, the commencement of the CVR exercise highlights a significant step in our effort to strengthen Nigeria's democracy.
The in-person registration will commence at INEC offices nationwide from 25th of August 2025. The first phase runs until December 2025, with the second phase scheduled from January to the 30th and the third phase in August 2026.
From the 25th, people will be attended to in our offices nationwide, 36 states and the FCT and the 774 local government offices of INEC. From 9 o'clock to 3 p.m.
The Commission seized the opportunity to also call on political parties, civil society groups and the media to support the exercise by creating awareness among Nigerians, noting that the permanent voter card remains the gateway to strengthening democracy and ensuring people's voices are heard at the polls. In Abuja, Kenechukwu Odrianum, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Environment in its latest flood prediction says 29 communities in Benue, Borno, Gombe, Kebbi, Nasarawa and Yobe states are likely to experience flooding as a result of rising water levels of River Niger between today and tomorrow. Director, Erosion, Flood and Coastal Zone Management Department, Federal Ministry of Environment, Usman Abdullah Bokani, advised communities on floodplain from Jabba to Lokoja to vacate to higher plains. Now, you know, with warnings like that, passengers who navigate waterways are not safe. So our focus after the break will be on ways to avert boat mishaps, the role of communities. Stay tuned.
The government and good people of Enugu State heartily welcome over 20...
Thank you for staying with us. And before we begin the conversation, I'd like us to see this report. The frequency of boat mishaps in Nigeria no doubt has become a source of concern to authorities. That's because of the country's extensive inland waterways and its significance for transportation, fishing, and trade. Chukunonso Nwabweze, this report takes a look at community involvement in changing the narrative, which experts say plays a pivotal role in enhancing safety practices, regulations, and enforcement. Let's see that.
Fatalities on the nation's inland waterways have become too many, despite federal government's efforts through the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy at tackling the challenge. The country has recorded about 7 boat mishaps in Rivers, Kwara, Kebbi, Taraba, Jigawa, Niger, and Sokoto states in 2025, with more than 60 deaths. Consequently, from Kogi, Niger, Lagos, Bayelsa to Kwara, Benue, Taraba, as well as other coastal states, the ministry, through the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, has taken government's multifaceted strategy of enforcing the Inland Waterways Transportation Regulation 2023, the conduct of public safety advocacy campaigns, and provision of essential equipment like life jackets to these states and beyond.
I want to appeal to the subnationals, the states, to see this as their responsibility. It's not really the entire responsibility of federal government. These citizens are your citizens. Make adequate provision for them, both on land and on the waterways.
90% of this boat mishap is caused by human errors. And in preventing this human error, we have provided trainings. We have sensitized more than 340 riverine villages in riverine states.
With lack of adherence to safety standards, especially non-wearing of life jackets, still on the increase, the role of communities in complementing government's efforts at reducing, if not totally preventing, boat mishaps is now even more imperative.
The people should go through their traditional rulers. You can train people from that community who will be able to communicate effectively with their local people. I think by so doing, people will understand and internalize the use of all these things. And the riders themselves will ensure that these boats are well maintained.
We continue to enlighten them on the danger of traveling on water without any protective jacket. You have to dissuade their mind to appreciate and accept all these efforts so that they know that it is no water spirit or it is no water god that is protecting them.
As relevant authorities continue to fashion out lasting solutions to incidents of boat mishaps, experts say deepening community-based awareness campaigns and the enforcement of safe boating practices are key. Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
And Sokoto State government has confirmed the deaths of 4 passengers in the recent boat mishap that occurred at Kojio Village, Goronyo local government area. The incident occurred along the Sokoto Rima River when the boat conveying the passengers capsized. That was on Saturday, 16th August 2025. The Sokoto State government confirms that 5 passengers have been declared missing, while 41 others were successfully rescued. This confirmation followed a thorough search and fact-finding exercise jointly carried out by the officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, the State Emergency Management Agency, and the Goronyo Local Government Council. Quite sad indeed. So let's begin the conversation. We have a guest, Mr. Olawale Adetola. He's the General Manager, Business Development from the National Inland Waterways Authority. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Adetola.
Thank you for having me.
You know, just reading out that report from Sokoto, Very sad. And the advocacy has been on safety first. So let's get the reaction of NIWA towards the safety concerns and the whole boat mishaps we're seeing happening for a while now.
Thank you. First, let me express the authorities' condolence and sympathy to families of those missing in the recent boat mishap in Sokoto. And while you were reading out what happened, I saw our official, that is the area manager, Sokoto. He was part of the people that were helping. So it's our job, so it's not something we should be commented upon. But by and large, from what they are saying now, I'm looking at it that the fatality is decreasing. And one thing you have seen from the report is that most often the cause is human error. We will continue to sensitize, we will continue to enlighten. And like to make it easier, we are doing a kind of corporate social responsibility by providing life jackets in most of this riverine area. We will continue to do that as fund permits us. And we'll still continue to sensitize and to enlighten. And also to enforce our safety regulation code. We have been doing sensitization all through last year, but this year we are going fully on enforcement because we believe we need to let them know these are what is expected of you so that there won't be any mishap on the water. This will continue to do.
Okay, Mr. Adetola, I like the fact you picked up the conversation for me on enforcement. There are water marshals who are supposed, to ensure these regulations are adhered to. And we hear reports of indiscipline, nonchalant attitude by boat operators and even passengers who are adamant to use these life jackets. Now, the reports you're getting, we're hearing allegedly that these marshals will be there and this, non-compliance to the regulations still persists. What is the report you're getting, and how are you addressing that?
Okay. The report we are getting is that most often, too, there are so many jetties along the waterways where we are doing our enforcement. All the water marshals and the officials of the authority, they ensure that nobody will board any water vessel without putting on the life jacket. And there was a recent case in point in the Niger State. It was a life jacket that was worn by the passengers that saved all of them when there was a boat mishap. So most often there are other unauthorized jetties. And most especially during market days, people will board vessels on all these unauthorized and unknown jetties. And that is why you see that sometimes when accidents happen and people die, is because there was nobody where they boarded to enforce the safety regulation we are talking about. But by and large, we intend to increase this. And there is another thing we are looking into, which we are working towards now, and that is the issue of Coast Guard, so that we will have as many people as possible patrolling our waterways and monitoring all the jetties, that nobody will sail from anywhere without putting on life jacket, and ensure that the vessel is not overloaded, and also they don't travel in the night.
Mr. Adetola, these people who are boat operators, who are passengers, majority are from communities, riverine communities around there, and yet we're seeing what is happening. We commend NIWA for the sensitization going on, but are you adopting other strategies to engage communities, especially stakeholders in these communities, to drive home localized sensitization?
Yes, we are doing that. Like the water washer we are talking about now, all of them were employed from the riverine community. They were not employed from headquarters. We went into the riverine communities and we picked people we knew can enforce this. And one thing we have been doing again too is, for some of these water marshal too, we are giving them training so that they will know how to do this their job adequately. But presently, I won't say we have enough water marshal to man the riverine communities. So we are still looking into employing more based on availability of funds, so that they will be able to monitor all the jetties that we have in the country.
But you didn't tell me the part if you're engaging traditional rulers or religious leaders at the community level.
We do.
Okay.
We do. For all the sensitization we are doing, the first place we go to is to go to the traditional ruler. And most often, we even have the sensitization right in their palace. We go to community leaders too. We ask them for their view. We ask them for what they think we can do to reduce this accident on waterways. We are ready to collaborate with the state government, ready to collaborate with the local government, and also all other stakeholders. Like you are talking about flooding now, we are collaborating with NIWA, we are collaborating with Federal Ministry of Environment. So everybody that is involved in this matter, we are collaborating with all of them.
All right, Mr. Adetola, and our next report, that will be after the break, is actually going to be talking about interagency collaboration. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll see that.
Cook to impress.
Thank you for staying tuned. The nation's waterways will be safer if communities cooperate and work closely with stakeholders by adhering to safety protocols. Jonathan Omajali, our correspondent, reports that this is the situation in Kogi, where the National Inland Waterways Authority is not only enforcing safety regulations, but also visiting riverine communities for sensitization engagements.
Boat accidents on Nigeria's waterways remain a major concern. Maritime experts attribute most of this mishap to human errors such as night travel, overloading, poor maintenance of old boats, and failure to comply with safety regulations. Community engagement has become crucial in tackling the challenge. In Kogi State, which has recorded several incidents in the past, stakeholders are working with local leaders through sensitization campaign and advocacy visits. Recently, the National Inland Waterways Authority visited Girinya community, where officials met with residents and traditional rulers who pledged to comply with safety guidelines, particularly the mandatory use of life jackets.
Preventing overcrowding and ensuring the competencies of the boat operators through licenses and trainings on the fundamental pillars of waterways safety is non-negotiable.
Today, they were all here to hear the sensitization and how to use water system. So my advice to them now is to abide by the rules and regulations guiding the transportation on water system.
In Lokoja, enforcement efforts have been intensified, with stakeholders ensuring strict adherence to safety measures.
We are forcing them to wear, and if you say you cannot wear our own, then you buy your own. Anytime you want to cross, you come with it. Without life jacket, we will not allow you to cross the boat.
With collective commitment, experts believe the nation's waterways, and Kogi in particular, will become much safer for travelers on waterways. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
And in Niger State, the aftermath of the recent boat mishap has raised different questions on the operations and safety of, navigating the waterways in the state. Dauda Mohammed reports that the post-mortem of the incident has revealed the need to change approach to forestall reoccurrence and casualties.
Niger State, with the longest stretch of inland waterways in Nigeria, has always recorded high casualties whenever accidents occur, the most recent of which claimed 15 lives in Shiroro local government area of the state. Preliminary investigation indicate that the wooden boat hit a protruding tree stump, causing it to break. Only the 26 passengers wearing life jackets out of the 43 on board survived.
Finding shows that the major cause of this mishap was snacks and overloading.
But in fairness to the state, we've done a lot. So if you can also testify that the numbers have really dropped.
The National Inland Waterways Authority, Nigeria State Ministry of Transportation, and the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission on different occasions provided safety jackets and rescue boats to mitigate casualties. But cultural and religious factors have hindered the use in most cases.
You see, mostly our boat operators are doing it in their own traditional way, and they still have that traditional belief. I think there is a need for a paradigm shift from what they've been doing presently to what is supposed to be done.
And part of what we want to do is also to engage the traditional institution to also be part of the advocacy we're going to start doing.
Niger State, with its large expanse of waterways bordering 3 states, Kaduna, Kebbi and Kwara, as well as rivers Kaduna and Niger, stakeholders say ensuring safety can only be achieved with stringent enforcement of safety measures and deployment of fiberglass boats as against the predominantly wooden ones prone to breakage. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
Mr. Adetola, I saw your reaction when you saw that overloaded boats. You know, it's just sad. It's not funny, it's just sad. And which brings me to this question. We're seeing the nonchalant attitudes and all of that. You're doing your own part. What really is the problem? Why is this still persistent? You know, when we're talking about persecution, enforcement, if there's no enforcement, there won't be persecution, right? Are people being persecuted for their actions? And are there penalties?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on what I just saw, in fact, I'm just perplexed. I don't know, with the sensitization, enlightenment, advocacy we have done, people can still enter any vessel without putting on life jacket. It's more or less they are going to commit suicide. And like we have said, what is causing most of this thing is human error. So what I would say, we will continue with our sensitization and we will be more stringent in our enforcement of the regulation codes, Waterway Transportation Code. Because for all these infringements, there are penalties spelled out for each. The only thing I will say sometimes that happens is, for some of these vessels you are seeing, where they are taking off from, we don't have personnel to monitor what they do there. Because if we do, we will definitely stop them from sailing. And in some cases, you see the number of passengers, if there are too many, they may be able to overwhelm the water marshal that will be operating there. So whatever the water marshal might be telling them, they will ignore. But we will continue to look for ways, collaborating with other people, then getting more funds to engage as many as possible water marshals. And the Coast Guard we are talking about, if we are able to get that one to be on board, we will have so many people who will be enforcing this our Waterway Transportation Code. So,
Mr. Adetola, what about the aspect of infrastructure? We saw the rickety nature of some of these boats. Some of them are unregistered. And the last time we had this conversation, we had a guest, an expert, and he decried the state of these boats that you can see on the screen. I know NIWA, sometime last year, was planning to phase out these wooden boats. So what's the update on that?
We are seriously working on that. There is this fund that was domiciled in NIMASA, let me just say, which we are looking into to be part of it so that we will phase out the wooden boat gradually. It's not something that can be done in a day. Yeah. And just like you said, we will need fund. What again we are trying to do again is to get private public partnership to be involved in this thing. We are advertising what people can do, the investment that they can have on the waterways. And we are inviting people who are ready to build jetties and places where vessels can load and unload. We are looking into it also. So we are expecting people who are interested in investing in the waterways to come. There are so many things that can be done on the waterways. And if everybody should come on board with the government, then most of what we are seeing will be reduced to the barest minimum. Not that we'll be able to stop it altogether, because human beings still be human that they are. they will still be doing that. Then another thing I will say is we will continue on what somebody just said about paradigm shifts. Waterway transportation is good and is the cheapest. But for some people, they are afraid to be on water. So these are all the things we need to be doing so that we will have more people using the waterways and reduce the fatalities in case there is any boat mishaps.
So what is going on in the aspect of wooing international investors? You talked about the role of the private sector. You know, are you talking about the authority now, getting investors from the international community to come and invest, especially in advancing technology, to see how to checkmate some of these mishaps?
Yes.
Okay.
We are having people who are interested in investing in the waterways. The area we are talking about now is where I heavily involved because I'm the general manager of business development.
Yeah, that's why I asked you that question.
What we are doing is for the paucity of funds we are complaining about, if there are public, whether international or national, or even state or local government, who are interested in helping us in some of these things we need to do, we are very ready. And we are welcoming anybody who is ready to collaborate with us so that we will let Nigerians benefit from the so many advantages that one can gain by waterway transportation.
What about the state, at the subnational levels, talking about state governments, their involvement to support, very briefly, Mr. Adetola?
I think that one, we are having them from some states, not all states. And I will say all states should endeavor to collaborate with us. Just last week, we were in Baro because the Niger state government, where the port is domiciled, they are bothered that the port has not been contributing its own part to the development of moving agricultural products from that place and moving other things to that place. And the major issue there is access road and connectivity.
Okay.
Railway too. So the two, everybody was on board for that trip. We were all there. The state government was there. Other people, the MD of Railway, everybody was on ground, and we have seen what is that. It's now for us to drive the actualization of what we saw.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adetola. Let's hope that these regulations will breed enforcement and lives will be safe. Thank you very much for coming on Weekend File. Thank you. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back.
Nigerian artisan, tired of all the customer complaints and looking to take your craft to the next level? Then join Skill Up Artisan.
Thank you for staying with us. President Bola Tinubu condoles with the family, friends and associates of Colonel Mohammed Mana, retired, a former military administrator of Plateau State and one-time senator who passed away in the early hours of Saturday in Abuja. The All Progressives Congress chieftain represented Adamawa North in the Senate between 2007 and 2011. President Tinubu describes Mana as a distinguished patriot, an officer, gentleman who gave much to his fatherland in and out of uniform. Similarly, President Bola Tinubu joins the management and staff of the Nation newspaper in mourning the passing of the assistant editor, Miss Evelyn Osage. Osage died last Sunday at the age of 49 after a brief illness. President Tinubu describes her death at a young age as sad and heartbreaking, recalling that the late Osage was one of the nation's most talented, creative and hardworking correspondents. All right, next will be sports update, and Ayo Deji is set for us. Ayo, what's up?
Well, let's start on a brighter note. Nigeria recorded a historic breakthrough as Abdul-Jabbar Adama won silver in the men's 50 meters butterfly at the ongoing World Aquatics Junior Swimming Championships in Otopeni, Romania. Adama clocked 23.64 seconds to finish second on the podium, a remarkable feat that not only secured him a place on the podium but also delivered Nigeria's first ever medal in world swimming history. It stands as the greatest achievement so far by a Nigerian swimmer at any World Aquatics event since the sport was listed in the elite category. Now let's talk football. Karu and New Karu FC have sealed their places in the final of the All-Star Veteran Football Championship in Abuja after a hard-fought semi-final victory, respectively, over USF All-Star and Apo Fitness Club. USF took the lead in the opening match, but New Karu struck back to advance. In the second fixture, Karu All-Stars edged past Apo Fitness Club 5-4 in a thrilling contest.
It has been very wonderful one, bringing people from their cocoon, from their private life to come out to enjoy themselves, football, sports.
See, while this final is something completely different from everybody in Karu All-Stars, getting to quarterfinal and semi-final has always been our birthright, but we've never had the opportunity to play in the finals. And having this opportunity to play in the final, we'll fire from us.
Let's go over to the world of the English Premier League, where Brentford secured their first home win of the season, edging past Aston Villa, who have now gone 3 straight league matches without a goal for the first time since July 2020. Bournemouth, on the other hand, are finally off the mark at the second attempt this season, grinding out a narrow 1-0 win over Wolverhampton, who were reduced to 10 men. Meanwhile, in the early kickoff, Tottenham Hotspur and their manager Thomas Frank praised the side's defensive resilience after they shut out Manchester City to claim a 2-0 victory at the Etihad. Sunday fixtures will see Manchester United take on Fulham as Everton welcome Brighton. Let's also tell you that the remains of legendary Super Eagles goalkeeper Peter Rufai lay in state at the Mobolasi Johnson Arena in Lagos amidst reflection on his life and time by Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria and ex-international players. Correspondent Gift George reports that a novelty match held in his honor on the famous pitch of the stadium where he started his career with stationery stores in 1980. Dodo Manana, as was fondly called, represented Nigeria at the 1994 and 1998 FIFA World Cups, winning the 1994 Africa Cup of Nations.
That came in at a young age, from 1981 till 1998, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, come on now, that's a legend.
The kind of understanding that was between me and Rufai and Ike, we are always helping each other.
Peter Rufai died on July 3 at the age of 61. And that's your sports. It's back to Ruth.
You're a very sad one there. A true legend, and of course his legacies will live on. Let's do the weather by finding out what is up tomorrow.
Thanks for staying with us. We're expecting heavy storms to sweep through parts of the northeastern region, particularly affecting Borno, Yobe, Gombe, Bauchi, some parts of Taraba, Adamawa, Kebbi, Zamfara, and Sokoto states. So if you're in these areas, be prepared for strong winds, lightning, and possible localized flooding. Moving into the central region, we're expecting moderate rainfall across many cities. While it may not be intense, it could disrupt travel plans or outdoor activities. So keep those umbrellas close. And down south, including the southwest, southeast, some parts of the coastal areas of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, Delta, and Bayelsa, be on the lookout for intermittent rain showers throughout the day. And that's it from this end. Thank you for watching.
Sunday, August 24th, marks the 34th independence of Ukraine. But for 3 years, Ukraine has been under Russian aggression. Many lives and property destroyed. As this war-torn country marks its independence tomorrow, Ukraine needs prayers for an end to the war and suffering, protection of the innocent, preservation of human life, and the restoration of peace and freedom. In this time of severe trials, the country needs not only political and humanitarian support, but also spiritual solidarity. So, just a word of prayer from you tomorrow for Ukraine. I'm sure you can do that, right? And we call it a night on Weekend File. Thank you for being part of it. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.
Do you want your school to be known for your achievements or activities? Then look no further. At NTA Knowledge on Star Times Channel 359, we will showcase your school's graduation,